short for the win. It's good! Okushevsky takes flight as SGA plays through the contact, banks it in on the foul.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Uncontested Postgame Podcast Edition. I am your host for tonight, Justin, as Oklahoma City falls to the Pacers in overtime, 110-113. Before we dive in, I want to let you know that we are proudly part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the official podcast of SI Thunder. If you don't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok as well. But before I go any further, I want to let you know that I am joined by my lovely co-host, Jacob. How we doing, Jacob?
Tank.
It's hard to imagine a more perfect tank game, if we're being honest.
It had all the hallmark tankiness to it.
The tankiness was high.
So I'm going to go full-blown nerd on the podcast right now, Justin. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if our listeners know this, but in like video games and stuff where you play, I don't know, like games like Overwatch or even like RPGs, the member of the team that is like super beefy and like has a lot of armor and takes all the damage is called the tank.
Yes.
Okay. The Thunder have like all the armor in the world on. They don't even have a weapon. They just use 2 shields, one of those big old spiky helmets, like full blown juggernaut, full blown tank, 100%.
It was magnificent. For those who did not get to watch the game, it was a very kind of like back and forth game to start. I think there was something like 11 lead changes in the first half. It was very kind of seesaw back and forth, really close, somewhat entertaining game through the first half. And then the third quarter happened. Mm-hmm. And the third quarter felt like it lasted for 6.5 years. The third quarter lasted longer than Perry Ellis's tenure at Kansas.
The third quarter lasted longer than the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, buddy.
We got a new variant during that third quarter. It lasted so damn long.
It was awful. There was 18 free throws taken between both teams in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. There were 3 video reviews, and the Pacers didn't score for like 5 minutes. They just decided
of game time, which was like half an hour of real world time.
Right. That's an important distinction. 5 minutes of game time. OKC blew it open. Unfortunately, the other thing that happened in the third quarter was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sprained his ankle. Mm-hmm. He left the game early in the third quarter, and pretty much as soon as he did, it felt like things tilted a little bit. The door was left open for the Pacers, and before you knew it, the Pacers were right back in it. And this game was close all the way down to the wire. It was a pretty disgusting into regulation. Oklahoma City didn't score the final almost 2.5 minutes of regulation. It's not like the fun kind of seesaw back and forth of the first half was not there at the end of regulation, and it was quite ugly. The Pacers pull it off in overtime despite their own amount of ugliness. They had 2 shot clock violations in overtime.
Yeah.
They missed multiple free throws, as did Oklahoma City. But the cherry on top of it all, the tankiest moment of a very tanky game, was when Oklahoma City had a 4-on-1.
Yeah, they missed a shot, forced a turnover. Giddey fires like a freaking heat seeker missile right to Darius Bazley under the basket, and that man caught the ball and looked
like
more
Ben Simmons.
Yes, he looked more scared than the dude in Get Out whenever he first hears the guy yell, "Get out." Like, about pooped himself, didn't know what to do, gave the ball up. Muscala wasn't expecting it. Trey Mann ends up with
Trey
it.
Mann, he missed a bunny.
Missed a bunny. Muscala misses a tip back. And at that point, I just thought, it's meant to be.
It was unbelievable.
Meant to
And,
be.
and then Oklahoma City still had a chance. They were down 3 with a few seconds left. The ball goes to Muscala at the top of the key, who gets fouled. And then he kicks it over to Kenny Hustle, who hits a 3 in the corner,
Yeah.
but it was well after the whistle. Muscala goes to the line and misses both free throws.
Which is funny because Muscala like ruined the Tank 2 years ago whenever he
Right.
hit that 3 against Miami in the bubble.
Right.
The Tank killer Muscala did us a favor tonight, I think.
Yeah. Incredible. Just an unbelievable game. I think yet again, good experience for this young team. We have a comment in the chat from Nate Sanders. Overtime showed why young teams lose. I think it's good experience. The Thunder have had a lot of that experience lately where they're in these close late game situations. And if you're not going to win very many games, putting your guys in those situations is a lot better than getting blown out by 30 every night. So I'm at least
Definitely.
encouraged by this team. While their record in January has been poor, they've not been getting taken to the woodshed every night. And tonight was no different.
Definitely. And I also think it's ironic, Justin, that Thunder lose tonight, perpetuate the tank, move forward to another. At this rate, it's looking like a top 4 odds are very likely for OKC.
Yep.
I haven't checked. I believe the Houston Rockets lost tonight to Portland. Yes, they lost by 5.
Yep.
So the Thunder didn't gain a game on third place Houston tonight. But I thought it was very poetic and ironic that the 2 players that the Thunder traded, or not two former players, one of them that the Thunder traded for Paul George, which Paul George ended up getting them all those picks, were 2 players that really helped them lose this one tonight. Jeremy Lamb, I thought, was great in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Ended with 14 points, shot 57% from the field, and then Domantas Sabonis just murdered the Thunder, 24, 18, and 10. Was just a bull in a china shop. Nobody could handle him underneath the basket tonight.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. He was far and away the best player on the court most of the night tonight. He's fun to watch. He's a prime that boy good candidate.
Yes.
Like you just watch him and like he just does stuff. He's positive.
He operates
happen.
in no space so well. He had a layup there and late in overtime where he got an offensive rebound and kind of went like up and under with his pivot foot and then like leaned in and leaned back out and somehow like got it up with the left hand. I mentioned it to you guys in our group chat tonight. He's kind of like an 80% Nikola Jokic.
I think that's an interesting comparison.
He's got the passing. He's like a big wide body that just like gobbles up rebounds in the lane.
Like just not quite as big and wide as Jokic.
Yeah. I mean, Jokic is like literally like generational, right?
Right.
So saying that Domas is 80% of that isn't a slight on Domas. It's more of just it's impossible to get to a Jokic level. That guy is effing insane.
Yep.
But there's a lot of similarities in their games.
Yep. I think they said on the broadcast tonight, I believe they said that was the 5th triple-double this season for Sabonis.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was always real big on Domas whenever he was in Oklahoma City. I loved him when he was here.
Agreed.
And it's interesting. You watch what he did tonight. In OKC, he was primarily a stretch 4.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know?
It is very interesting. The role has changed completely. And it makes me wonder what Domas and OKC looks like if Steven Adams wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. I think a completely different role. Yeah.
It's very interesting. Let's look at some of the Thunder contributors for tonight.
Hey, before we do real quick, I wanted to mention another interesting thing, and this will tie in.
Okay.
Trey Mann gets the start.
I was just about to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. But maybe
We're on
even
the same page here.
Even more fascinating, 0 Aaron Wiggins minutes.
Yes. That was very strange.
Who's racked up a lot of time and played really well.
The first
0 minutes for him.
Like mid-December, I think that he hasn't played. He had a good stretch there. I don't know. Like, do you think that's just roster exploration, to use that word?
I think so, especially because they brought so many guys back from the G League.
Yeah.
So
you had Trey Mann starting, which created some moments for Teo with the second unit. Teo coming off a flaming hot run in the G League.
Yeah. Flaming hot run in the G League, and then gets 12 minutes tonight, goes 1 of 3 for 3 points. A lot of people on Twitter were really hyped up about Teo's G League stint.
Yeah.
Justin, just like you said, like Summer League doesn't really matter. It's G League for a reason.
Yeah. I
don't think Teo's that good.
It's interesting. I even thought, I didn't think he'd come out and light it up, but I thought we'd see a little more. I thought the confidence would translate more. He still just felt like, he was almost hot potatoing it sometimes. When he got the ball, he's just kicking it around.
I believe you tweeted it from the account. He did have a freaking dime to a cutting Baisley.
Yes.
It's the best pass I've ever seen from Teo in his career.
And a great cut from Baisley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those two, that was a really nice play. Got to give props where they're due. But yeah, just not the consistent output from Teo unless he's in the G League.
Yeah.
Let's go to the top of the stat sheet. The player of the game, the guy who was all over the floor tonight, Luguentz Dort, plays 41 minutes, most on the team, 27 points, most on the team, 8 rebounds, ties a season high for him, second most on the team tonight, 4 assists, also ties a season high for him, also second most on the team. Lou was doing absolutely everything. He had 2 massive 3-pointers down the stretch, just like confident, no hesitation, put the ball in the basket 3-pointers from Lou Dort, in addition to what we've come to expect from him on the defensive end. Dort was absolutely balling tonight.
Yeah, he had a great night. He bullied everybody to the basket. He's so god dang strong. Nobody can stay in front of him. And I mean, he was like a wet blanket on Caris LeVert tonight. That man,
LeVert looked terrible.
LeVert, for a guy that's on the trade block, I watched that game and said, do I want to trade for that guy? LeVert was not good tonight.
Yeah.
3 of 19 from the field for Caris LeVert.
Yikes.
And at the end of that third quarter, the Pacers were running a set because they were going to run out the clock in the third quarter and get a shot. And LeVert tried to go baseline, and Lou Dort basically just was like the bouncer at the club and said, "Sir, no, please exit this way," and just got him out of there. It's pretty impressive.
The other play that stood out to me from Dort tonight was where he kind of went way up high to catch a pass.
Oh, yeah.
I think it might have been Domas. I can't remember for sure. But
he went over Domas on a giddy pass.
He mossed him.
Mm-hmm.
Went up, grabbed it, kind of turned around midair, came down and put it right back up. It was just like unbelievable body control.
Very impressive
on a play like that. It just shows like what an athletic specimen Lou Dort is. But in a night where Shea goes down pretty early in the second half, it was interesting to see Dort kind of step up and take a little bit more emphasis of things heading into the home stretch of the second half.
Yeah, on the last offensive possession of the game for the Thunder, Lou Dort actually initiating the offense over Josh Giddey, which I thought was very fascinating.
Yeah, that is very interesting. So speaking of Giddey, second most minutes tonight at 40. I
tweeted this to Nick. Giddey was talking to the media the other day and said, "This is a really long season, and I'm exhausted." And I'm texting my Australian NBA friends saying, "How do I do this?" And then Mark Daignault said, "All right, bet." Played him 40 minutes the next game. Poor guy.
Woo, getting that burn. 15 points tonight for Giddey with 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. I mean, it's a broken record, scheduled tweet, whatever you want to call it. The guy's got unreal vision. He just makes ridiculous passes every single night. And tonight was no exception. He had some absolute dimes. He had a really nice one kind of over the top to JRE as he was cutting to the basket. It feels like that connection happens a lot as well. I think despite being tired, being in the dog days of the NBA season and playing 40 minutes, though, off of a pretty good number of days of rest, I think it's solid performance from Giddey. I think the thing that gets me most excited is it feels like we're starting to see some real improvement in his jump shot. 7 of 15 from the floor tonight. His jump shot seems to be a little bit cleaner on his mechanics,
especially
the mid-range. The floater looks nice. I think there's some nice positive development happening there through half a season for Giddey.
I think you hit the nail on the head. His floater game, the touch, is very impressive for a 6'8" guy. I tweeted at the end of the game, he shot a 3. I don't know if it was in the fourth quarter or overtime. I think it was overtime. Missed it. Next possession down, caught the ball at the 3-point line. Took like 2 dribbles in and hit like a little step back pull up midi from right around the free throw line. And it was just butter. Yep. And the touch on the floater, and especially the mid-range pull-up game, gives me a lot of confidence that the 3-point shot's going to come around for him. Yeah. Right. He's still so young. Part of the 3-point shot in the NBA is just strength and legs. He's going to get there. He's going to put on weight. He's going to put on muscle. I think the 3-point shot will come around because other parts of his shooting mechanics and his game are just so clean. He's kind of removed that weird like kick motion from his 3. And once you get bigger and stronger, it's almost like the kick motion is trying to get the ball up to the rim, right? He's got to change his shooting mechanics a little bit when he steps out farther. But when he takes that mid-range, it is very, very smooth jumper.
Yep.
So give him a year, give him an off season to strengthen up a little bit more and get more reps. And his 3-point stroke is going to start looking similar to that mid-range stroke. And when that happens, look out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was the Thunder. Somebody posted a video clip of him shooting 3s at practice. There still wasn't a ton of legs in the shot, but I think it looked overall a lot better, highly improved from where it was when he first came in. So I think you're seeing a lot of good progress in the shot from Giddey.
And that's only half a rookie season,
right? Yes.
So I'm very confident. Also, you mentioned the Giddey to JRE connection like happens a lot. Yes. He always finds Jeremiah on these rolls or on these lobs or whatever. Imagine when he has an actual center. I mean,
yeah.
This might sound like a little ridiculous. I think Mo Bamba is a fine player. And I'm not promoting like, OKC needs to go get Mo Bamba. I don't think they're going to do that. Josh Giddey could make Mo Bamba look like a borderline all-star.
That would be a fun pair.
I mean, how many alley-oops would Mo Bamba catch from Giddey in a game?
Yep.
How many just wide open under the basket looks would he get a game from Josh?
Yep.
You get Josh and Shea, a legitimate big who can play above the rim or who can like really space like Muscala can.
Yep.
Or can do a little bit of both, like a Miles Turner. Like Josh Giddey would have Miles Turner in the All-Star game.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It reminds me a little bit of when the Thunder 1.0 brought in Serge Ibaka. Like that just changed things for Russell Westbrook and everybody on the team. Having somebody like Serge instead of Nenad Krstić, who could actually, you could throw alley-oops to. There was some verticality happening under the basket instead of just chair throwing. I think that was a big improvement. And I think this team is built similarly, arguably by design at this point. But I agree. I think a big that can add that element of the game to Giddey and Shea. And then you start to look at some of the prospects in this year's draft class. It's very exciting to think about some of those potential pairings for sure.
Definitely.
Speaking of development.
Hold on. One more thing about Giddey.
Yes.
Maybe my favorite play of the season so far in the first quarter.
Yes.
The Giddey disgusting behind the back pass to
Shea.
I'm assuming we'll get to Shea in a second, so I'll save some of my comments about Shea for that time. But just open court, fast break, just an absolute dime, full speed behind the back to a cutting Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is.
And then they just giggle.
Mark it NSFW and throw it on the internet, man.
Oh yes, that was A+. I think I said something almost identical to that. I think I said this video has been deemed too hot for TV.
Very true.
So speaking of development, let's talk about Bazley. Bazley had a very solid game overall tonight. 14 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, 5 of 7 from the floor, 2 of 2 from behind the arc, and 2 of 2 at the free throw stripe. Bays came out strong to start the game. He had 10 points at halftime. He was the second leading scorer on the Thunder behind Lou Dort with 11. He had a couple really big blocks, which he seems to do pretty consistently, but it felt like he was playing within himself, making good decisions. He had some nice cuts, like we talked about. Just overall, like, this was for the most part, a prototypical, like, positive game of what you would want to see from Bazley night in, night out. What do you think?
Definitely. Now give it about 5 days.
No, for sure. For sure. That's always the problem, right? Can he string it together? Can he do it multiple games in a row?
Evidence tells us no. Yeah. Evidence tells us he might string together 3 or 4. And then
he had a couple rough plays down the stretch of regulation.
The overtime play, the spin on Domas and try to go up and under that he got bailed out by a foul because the up and under was about to go about 15 feet over the basket,
Yeah. And the terrified not shooting moment.
Exactly.
Very late. Yeah.
I mean, solid game from Bays. I don't expect it to be replicated in the next game.
Yep.
He's played better off the bench than he has starting. Go figure. When he's playing off the bench, he's playing against lesser competition. I'm on the record. I'm going to stay on the record. I don't think he's long for this team. I don't think he's on this team at the start of next season.
Yeah.
They have too many draft picks coming in, too many young guys to develop. He's due a contract extension.
Yep.
Something's got to give as far as the roster on this team. And they're going to be trying to rotate in more guys at that position. And I think he gets rotated out.
Yep. I think that's fair. I don't know that I disagree. Let's talk Shai, like you alluded to. Shai in barely a half plus, 10 points tonight, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, checking all the categories. He went out pretty early in the third quarter with a ankle sprain. Thunder PR, it was kind of unsure how long he'd be out. Thunder PR tweeted it was officially an ankle sprain. How long do you think this sidelines Shai?
The way it looked, like I'd say a week.
Yeah.
I mean, he stepped on the guy's foot and rolled it over pretty hard. It wasn't as bad as Kenrich Williams' ankle roll from a few weeks ago. And it all just depends. I mean, Justin, you played high school basketball. Like, we all know how this works. You step on somebody's ankle, you roll or somebody's foot, you roll your ankle.
Yep.
You hobble on it. You can tighten your shoe up and you can continue to hoop for a while. And then you wake up the next morning and the thing looks like a damn balloon. Now, whereas you and I, whenever we roll our ankles playing basketball, we still get up and walk around and go to work and we ice the thing and it hurts. Shai has literally state-of-the-art medical staff that is going to rehab the crap out of it. If I had to guess, I would say he'll be out a week. I'm pulling up the schedule right now. They have, they don't play again until Monday.
Yeah.
They have Portland on Monday, Dallas on Wednesday, Portland on Friday, Sacramento on Saturday. I bet he's out for all of that, and he plays again at home against Golden State on Monday, May 7th. Or sorry, not May 7th, February 7th.
I think if you're looking at lottery odds, him not playing against Sacramento is great news. Him not playing against Portland is great news.
Portland kind of pulling away a little bit here.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been playing a lot better.
Putting it together a little bit.
But still, take every loss you can get.
That's right. It'll be very interesting to monitor. Joseph in the chat says the rest of the season is how long Shai will be out. Sprained ankle is going to turn into plantar fasciitis, and we'll go from there. No, I do think it is interesting. This team, I mean, obviously, you lose the best player on the floor, and the team's going to look different. I think you can, make a Band-Aid for a half like the Thunder did tonight. Like we had Lou Dort stepping up. That's harder to do multiple nights in a row, multiple games in a row. His absence will be felt by 100%. The Thunder.
Now, a few things about Shai from tonight, though. Some incredibly smooth and crafty finishes that you love to see.
Some nice spins in the lane.
Now, Justin, 2 things I have noticed from Shai over, I would say, the past 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, he's dunking the ball a lot more.
Yes, he had emphatic dunk early in this game.
I feel pretty confident in saying he has more dunks in the past 2 weeks than the rest of the season combined. That's not hyperbole. I think that's accurate because he doesn't dunk the ball a lot, and he's being more forceful at the rim, which I love to see. Also, I would say in the past 3 weeks, he has more catch and shoot threes than he has the entire season. He's starting to learn to play off Josh Giddey more. It's a process, especially after what Shea had to do last year and just be ISO all the time. That's what he's used to. Trying to revert back to playing off ball is a massive task. It takes time. I think he's getting there. If you watch a lot of the stuff tonight, he did a lot of ISO stuff tonight, but he also did a lot of off the catch stuff tonight, either catch and shoot or catch and attack. And he's been doing that a lot the past few weeks. And I absolutely love to see that. That shows me that they're really making a concerted effort, he and Josh, to learn to play off of each other rather than playing like a Russ, KD, your turn, my turn type of basketball. They're learning to play together. And as one guy is off the ball, the other guy is moving, cutting, catching, and attacking, being engaged. And you love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes me wonder, what kinds of conversations are being had behind the scenes, like seeing Shea do those two things you mentioned, dunking more and doing more catch and shoot threes, make me think that, the coaches might have issued him some kind of challenge. We know he responds well to challenges, like a couple years ago when they said, Shea, you need to go get more rebounds. And so we went
2010. Yeah.
I think, it's very interesting. I think it is an extremely positive development to see those two kind of finding a rhythm a little bit in the backcourt alongside each other. And it's an adjustment for both of them, not just for Shea. It's an adjustment for Giddey as well. And I think you're seeing new kind of wrinkles from his game too.
Definitely. Any other players?
I was going to ask that. Get out of my brain tonight, Jacob.
Tre Mann, 3 of 11, but the step back threes are just absolutely filthy
every time. Shout out Michael Cage. I love it every time the broadcast says uncontested. It just makes me happy.
Yeah.
But he had a real good one tonight. I posted a video of it, and he said something about, with his step back, he gets so much space. He is uncontested, literally. And I said, hey, so are we.
It's incredible. I love it. Yeah, 9 points, 3 of 7 from 3 for Tre tonight. Still trying to eat that broccoli. He's being very engaged defensively. He's working his butt off. I think his reward for that was starting tonight. I've kind of floated the idea, like if the Thunder did pull off a Lou Dort trade, Tre Mann might be like your starting 2, which is kind of exciting. Like it offers you a lot of offensive versatility, a guy that can really create and shoot threes. Be kind of interesting. So I'm still very, very high on Tre. I said this on a show a few weeks ago, but 2 years from now, I think if I had to choose 3 players from this current roster that will still be on the team in 3 years, I think it's Shea, Giddey, and Tre.
I think I can buy that argument. He has so much potential. His shot creation is ridiculous, and for as young and raw as he has so much upside that it's very exciting for Thunder fans and anybody watching Tre Mann.
Our guy Keandre, who runs Hoop Intellect, made a Tre Mann Darius Garland comparison.
Ooh,
a while
nice.
back. No, I think that's a little too high. I maybe see Tre as more of like an Anthony Simons type of guy. But still, that's a great type of player to have.
Let's get Tre Mann in the dunk contest, I think is what you're saying.
Yes. Dude, got some bunnies.
He does.
We don't know who's going to be in the dunk contest this year, do we?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Anthony, he won it a couple years ago, I think, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Looking ahead for OKC, like you mentioned, Portland on Monday. Get ready for that. We'll be live on Sunday night with our weekly live show. So make sure to tune in for that. Then we have Portland on Monday, like I mentioned, Dallas on Wednesday, before Portland again next Friday. and finally Sacramento next Saturday. That is your week ahead in Thunder Hoops. We will have post-game shows just like this one for all of it, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and drop a 5-star rating. We'd greatly appreciate it. Helps other people find the pod and helps us do more cool stuff like giveaway stickers and Poku fanny packs and fun things like that. So make sure to check us out there. Jacob, thanks so much for joining me tonight. All of you listening, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for jumping in the live stream, dropping your comments in the chat. We greatly appreciate everybody that tunes in and interacts. Makes it more fun. It's a lot of Thunder losses, so we need friends. So thanks for being our friend. Until next time, Thunder up.